Your true success is born from the courage to keep exploring, learning, doing, and growing. My parents gave me the gifts to choose, to be anything, and that there is no failure, only learning opportunities. The morning I started high school, my parents sat me down for a talk. Basically, they told me I would encounter new situations in high school, such as activities involving sex, alcohol, or drugs. They told me if I wanted to try a drink, they would make it for me at home. If I wanted to try marijuana or something else, they would have me try it at home. If I got really interested in sex, they would give me contraceptives. To be honest, I was stunned. I think I sat through the entire conversation with my mouth hanging open. I mean, what the heck? My parents did share their opinions about why I should refrain from these activities, but they made it clear it was my choice and that they would always love me, regardless of the choices that I made. My parents empowered me with my right and responsibility to choose. And this has been so powerful throughout my life. The second gift was the belief from my parents that I could be or do anything. It's that Kim Possible moment. The world was limitless, waiting for me to forge my own unique path. It's the root of why I'm a go-for-it type of person. The third gift they gave me was recognizing failure as a catalyst to learn and grow. It was a security blanket of courage to try new things and push myself. Because the worst thing that could happen is that I would learn one way didn't work, but an alternative method was a possible winner. I've spent my career in male-dominated industries. And as I moved into leadership positions, I was often the only woman in the room. And as women, we walk a fine line at work. We're often judged more harshly and expected to perform at a higher level. The best example of this was when I returned to work from maternity leave. At the first team meeting following my return to work, our boss pointed me out, not welcoming me, but saying I was finally back at work, directly implying I was a slacker and somehow less than. I gotta tell you, I was enraged, but I kept my cool, but there was no way I was gonna let this pass without comment. It's vital as women that we stand our ground with grace and dignity. So here's what I did. I thanked our boss for welcoming me back. And next I joked it would be much easier on our delivery drivers not to be going back and forth to my home every day with projects. Then I asked how the remodel was coming along and when our new equipment could be installed. So we all encounter this type of crap from time to time. The key is to stand in our own power. Don't be a doormat, ignore it, or let it pass. It may make you uncomfortable, but you must address it head on. The formula I use is gratitude, acknowledgement, and forward thinking. Starting with gratitude removes the sting. The acknowledgement should both recognize and pivot the point. And finishing with forward thinking shifts the discussion in a positive direction. In my example, it took 33 seconds to execute my 3-step process, assert myself, and be gracious while doing it. A mentor is someone who is 2 steps ahead with impeccable ethics. A person who has already been there, done that. who will share their knowledge and insights candidly. Be a sounding board with experience or familiarity with what lies ahead. Deliver constructive criticism kindly but firmly. Help you recognize your blind spots and open your mind to alternative angles. Finally, a mentor will hold you accountable to pursue the goals you have set for yourself. Our programs are focused on sales and leadership. I believe every woman should have sales training, even when she will not work even a day in sales. In reality, we sell every day, from negotiating what we'll watch on Netflix with our partners to pitching an initiative with our boss. Sales training is leadership training. You learn problem solving, engagement, resilience, flexibility, originality, resourcefulness, motivation, agility, negotiation, collaboration, and communication skills. Wow, that's a lot. Our programs encompass learned and activity knowledge because it's the doing that sticks and fosters growth. You must start with introspection. No matter how accomplished and skillful, we all experience occasional self-doubt and bumps in the road. There are so many examples of how limiting beliefs hold us back in our careers. Once upon a time, one of the things that I loathed was attending networking events where I neither knew no one or maybe only a few people. I avoided these activities like the plague or COVID-19. If I did attend, it was only when I could go with someone, and I would stay glued to their side. Through introspection exercises, I discovered my limiting beliefs of needing approval was manifesting as self-sabotage. Networking is the lifeblood of fresh relationship opportunities. I was a sales champion, but imagine how much more I could have achieved early on in my career if I had not been so unwilling to go to networking events. Then one day, 1 hour transformed my attitude, my approach, my enjoyment of these occasions. It was the equivalent of a lightning bolt. And I was receptive because of the previous mindset work of embracing introspection. So here's what happened. It was at the kickoff session of a conference, and it was presented by Deborah Fine. She's the author of The Fine Art of Small Talk. And she told us about her own experience of hating these events and hiding in a corner or behind a colleague. Well, that sounds familiar. She talked about how she realized she needed to change and then how she did it. And as she went through her presentation, I saw myself and realized how much I wanted to change and stop allowing my fears to control my behavior. So for the rest of the event, I just pushed my boundaries and stretched myself. I practiced everything she had presented. And my conference experience was amazing. Ever since that kickoff session with Deborah Fine, I eagerly anticipate every business event and conference. It was life-changing. And that's my story of how self-imposed limiting beliefs can hold you back. When we start by identifying the purpose behind our thoughts and how our beliefs are formed, it's powerful. It's the foundational tools to shake your paradigm, reframe your mindset, and shift your self-imposed limiting beliefs. Adaptability is the capacity to pivot and change direction according to the needs of your team members, peers, and management. It's also the ability to work with diverse styles, perspectives, and approaches while building strong relationships. It's crucial to begin with the belief that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. Just because someone thinks differently, it does not mean they're wrong. There could be information which has not been shared, an alternate objective, or a different approach. My first task is to explore and discuss the topic or question at hand. Ask the other person to tell you more, tell me more. Help you understand, help me understand, right? And it's crucial to demonstrate genuine curiosity about their viewpoint. Truly listen and ask more questions as needed. The other person may be aware of something you have not considered or you don't have knowledge of. So your very best approach is also to do this in person or today, a virtual call. Visual cues are crucial to your ability to read the conversation and how it's unfolding. Ask for their opinion and suggest mapping out the process. You want to be sharing knowledge, contributing ideas, and proactively considering alternate perspectives. Throughout the interaction, you are driving towards the best outcome without compromising your stature. It's about the confidence you exude to welcome input, carefully consider, and act in the best interests of the organization. We've already established I'm a go-for-it person, which translates to a healthy appetite for risk. When I was in my late teens, I was an avid water skier. I loved skiing in close to the dock and spraying everyone with water. But I was always careful not to ski too close, even though that meant my splash was not as big as others. Now, my brother took way more risks, skiing as close to the dock as possible and creating a huge wall of water, spraying the dock. Sort of like one of those e-attraction events, right? And one day, of course, the inevitable happened. He slammed into the dock, nearly drowned, and broke half his ribs. So why am I sharing this story? Because it illustrates how we accept different levels of risk. In business, I weigh the potential outcomes of the risk. What's the worst case, best case, and most likely scenario? If the worst case is equivalent to breaking my ribs, being in excruciating pain for weeks, and being forced to the sidelines, well, then the risk is too great for me. If, on the other hand, if the worst case scenario is feeling uncomfortable and maybe a bit scared of the unknown, then I'll go for it. My advice is to go through that worst case, best case, and most likely scenario. Face your fears and stretch yourself. Remember, the unknown is where everything you don't have lives. Every day, new opportunities are presented to us. We don't always recognize them, but they're always there. What's really important is to not live in the might have been. It's a negative, dark tunnel, and you don't want to go there. With that said, some situations you really do need to analyze the who, what, where, when, why, and how the opportunity slipped through your fingers. It's about identifying that root cause and then how you can pivot to a better outcome in the future. The process is often called a post-mortem. Sort of grim, but yeah, there it is. By focusing on areas of improvement, you and your team will be in a stronger position. Embrace what you learned and gained and translate that into your next game plan. My core value is to be of service and help others. So mentoring, training, and consulting is my passion. Knowing that I have helped an individual or a company along their journey fills my soul with joy and gratitude. With every experience, I acquire fresh perspectives, glimmers of new understanding, and the treasures of trusting relationships. By providing this generosity of spirit, I help the world, adding another drop of kindness, dignity, and respect for a brighter future. Each of us has a unique journey, and sometimes we have to travel the long road around to reach a short distance. At times, our paths may seem convoluted, but every destination is a doorway to another. Never stay put out of fear or of failure. Your true success is born from the courage to keep exploring, learning, doing, and growing. Thank you, Val, for allowing me to share my thoughts and journey.